All right, so what role does minimalism or simplifying play in our lifestyle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Minimalism is huge for us, actually. And the reason why I believe that energetically, both Patrice and I are just so compatible in our thinking that we do not want clutter in the house, and that clutter literally clouds our energy space.
Yep.
And so we love space, we love freedom, we love the flow of air in our house. And that's why intentional spending just fits in so perfectly with that, because we do look for functional, practical things. And yes, they might be on a luxury high-end side, but they
like that
serve
because,
us
because we
for a long time.
We don't buy often or a lot. So when we do buy, it's high quality, or it's something that's going to last a while.
Yeah.
The only exception to that is if we had it for a long time, we won't throw it out just to get something high quality. We'll wait until it just no longer serves us, and it will absolutely replace with something that's better.
Yeah. So what are some of the examples that of our recent purchases with Le Creuset?
Oh yeah.
Minimalistic, right? Like Le Creuset.
Yeah. So that was an example of something we had that was old, no longer served us, so we upgraded, and they would be the Le Creuset or measuring spoons and cups, right?
Yeah.
So you're basically talking about a measuring spoon.
Yeah, like a very basic utility in the kitchen, right?
$60. Okay, we get it. It's I think the stainless steel,
so beautiful, timeless, right? But another important thing is that came as a perk through our American Express card,
the platinum that we have. Yeah,
right. And
so it's also intentional there with that as well, so maximizing what you got, but also making sure that you get the high quality item.
Yeah.
Another thing too is this beautiful yellow couch, right, that we just got too. So
mustard,
this beautiful mustard couch.
Because it's not really yellow.
We got. So we're a huge fan of the company Interior Define, and we needed something that fit our lifestyle as well as high quality. Right? So this took us about, I think this was 10 weeks for them to build and then ship to us. We got to build it custom, and absolutely we love it.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
So
we've got all kinds of examples of purchases that made sense, spending that made sense, that was intentional, high quality, but only made sense when we need it. All right, so next question.
What is minimalism for you though? I was just...
Yeah, we're locked. We're on the same page. We're in lock with that. Just the reduction of clutter. I mean, gonna go back to Marie Kondo. If it didn't bring us joy and it's just too much, it was gone.
So same with clothing, for instance. We don't just go out and buy a bunch of clothes. Sometimes we invest in higher end pieces, and sometimes we just thrift, and we're actually not afraid of that. I don't know if this is something that comes as a prejudice or a stereotype for people. Once you elevate your lifestyle, you just kind of have to always buy everything from scratch or new, or
that's some cultural influence there.
Maybe. But I love, for instance, when we can recycle clothes, right? When I can give away the pieces that I no longer enjoy or don't fit in, and then I can borrow for somebody else.
So what she's trying to tell you is that
I like a little bit of socialism in our life.
If they could give out awards on buy nothing, she would have an award.
I was just going for that.
Crowns, because I'm positive people have an alert.
I am a top contributor, by the way.
When Oksana gives away in the community.
Yeah,
right?
So on Facebook, there is this movement, and it's off Facebook too, but it's called Buy Nothing. It's specifically a group that's designed, or I guess separated by the zip code, where people just give intentional, gifting and asking and donating. And so there is no money involved ever, or no kind of compensation, or even just as a gratitude, we don't compensate each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a form of gifts. And
it fits our lifestyle fantastically, because just like we said, if we've got clutter, the other part of that too is not throwing it away. If it doesn't serve us anymore, it might serve somebody else. But I'm just saying, again, contributor.
Yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense to sell some of the things, right? They're just not really in a sellable enough condition, in my opinion. So that's what goes to Buy Nothing, and and it's beautiful, to see that the person is happy with what one's man's trash, the other man's treasure. Like, absolutely, I love that concept.
It was never trash to us. Just so you know, it's never trash. What doesn't work for us might work for somebody else. That's true. That's the line.
So I love that. Yeah. And especially with babies' clothing. Oh my gosh, they grow up so fast. They grow out of everything. It's just like one season and you can't like use that anymore. And typically, you know, with all of the gifts, it's just so much clothes, right? And so
so this isn't our intentional.
That's how we exchange with our neighbors. Like, we have kids all around us in the neighborhood. So I just absolutely love that, because we don't have to buy anything for Zoe.
All right, so that's a good roundup, and let's move on to the next one. So how do we prioritize experiences over possessions, and what memorable experiences have resulted from our mindset?
Easy. This is very easy for me. How I prioritize experiences, because my love language is quality time.
Oh, I want to talk about love languages.
Any kind of opportunity that I can take to be with my family or even by myself. I love solo travel. I mean, that's just that's what nourishes my soul, right? So that's why for me it's a no-brainer to buy another skirt, or to rather like book a flight somewhere round trip. Totally, I'm gonna go with travel. I guess for her,
So for you, you want to experience things with me, right?
Absolutely.
Her quality time. Of course, we would do an experience, because why buy that shirt when you can hang out with the baby? Right? Is that what I mean?
A night out and like a dinner experience, right? And we love also elevated dining experiences with the Michelin star restaurants, and we'd rather like not go for a couple of tacos, but then
there we go, like another example of intentional spending. So when we do go out, because we're busy moms, we're gonna go out to some top restaurants. Right? Shout out to Cranes, and also Jaunt.
We had a beautiful experience there for your birthday last year.
Michelin-inspired restaurants. Okay, so for me, how do I prioritize experiences over like material possession? Because we travel. I mean, we stay traveling. That was a huge connection point for us, and part of that travel is experiencing something new. Whether it's a new culture, new food, we just gravitate towards that. Yeah.
I feel like that enriches our lifestyle, and we don't really limit ourselves when we travel. Again, sometimes even if it's like a luxury cruise, and if it means that we have to create a bit of a goal in the You Need a Budget software that we use for spending and tracking our transactions and stuff, it means that we create a goal and we contribute towards it, but we, again, intentionally plan that kind of travel for our family.
So what tips would we have for some of our viewers, some of our tribe, to get started with intentionally spending and the habits around that?
I feel like the very first step that's absolutely important is actually deciding what you care about and what your priorities are. Do you want to minimize kind of like the investment of your time into the daily things? Like, do you want to prioritize travel? Do you want more family time? Do you want more alone time, right?
Is there a cause that you care about? Some people care about specific causes and specific organizations. So maybe you want to contribute to that artist, to that cause, and spend around that. You want to live someplace.
That is such a nice addition. Oh my gosh. I'm like all about like me. Us.
Everybody is about me, us. That is the story of everybody. But there are a few out there who care about others. So number one, you got to figure out what you want. And that might take some time, but that's great, because then you'll start spinning towards the rubble.
Oh my gosh, a great example of that is a dream Dreamline, yes.
Okay.
So that's what was really fantastic for us, because it got us thinking as far as like, what are we passionate about? What do we want to focus our intentional spending around?
So a dreamline is where you sit down, think about, what do you want from life? If I had no barriers, no obstacles, all the money, what would I want?
Yeah.
And so we put our dreamline together.
Like, what does your dream life look like?
And our themes were outsourcing and travel.
And you'd be surprised that it's actually not as unattainable, right, as it sometimes feels. And when you put the numbers against the items that you're passionate about and you want in your life, then it just puts things in perspective, right? And then you know where you're headed. You know exactly the direction you want to take financially so that you get there.